don't one of you lead, please? Let me.
Well, if you look at page 89, it's talking about how you do that, how you do write groups in rounds. And so somebody's going to read, and we're going to listen, and then just say back what we heard, and then tell them what works and what we think they could work on, and then the writer's going to tell us, what they think or what they want to do with that. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. There we go. Okay.
So mine's a poem, and it is a.
You have a copy.
Yes, here, right there.
There's always a slacker.
You're such a slacker. So it's not finished, but it's called Self-Portrait with Map, Fading. This is the way home. The airport road into town, past the base, riding on a bus or in a taxi, in a blue and white Buick ferried across 2 oceans, past the school, past the street of flowers and the general's house, and who remembers the order? The streets with names of fallen heroes, unpronounceable, somehow finding the street of the 2 sisters, although we were 2, then 3, then 4, born and reborn in that villa on the street of dreams. Through the iron gate secure between the marble pillars where I wrote, invisible, in blue cahiers with leaking fountain pens, up the short drive, beneath the carport, beneath the roof, beneath my room, before to climb meant to fall. Framed by poinciana and plumeria, and bananas that might once have been the hands of Buddha. The map fades, the streets change names, and the 4 sisters travel backwards through their private darkness.
So we're just saying back what the stuff it was, but if you're talking about your childhood, your military life, military grad life, very homely life.
Yeah, it's very visual. Give us a lot of pictures of what you're seeing as you go back through. The thing that was interesting to me is the sort of time transition that I see in here. You're looking back, and then there's what is sort of suggested towards the end is kind of a reunion. At least that's what I got from it. It's just a journey and a reflection on that journey sometime later.
Works well, so the parts that work well. So I like that. The bananas that might once have been.
I marked that
Kinda
one too.
like
That's a nice
see
phrase.
that.
And I'll try to go further. I think I like the bees on both ends of that phrase, bananas and Buddha on the end of that. I thought that was a nice touch. A lot of nice words, like I've seen the word C-A-H-I-E-R-S before, but I never knew how to pronounce it until you pronounced it just now. And just as a general thing, I thought the language, especially the visual language in the piece, was just very, it worked for me. So.
I can see the base couch right there. So I can be in the car right now and see what you're seeing. Okay, and then it still needs more work. Like one place in the text that we want to know more about. So like the order, and I know you have a question there. And so was that like general, sergeant, major, what? You remember the order? Or the order of the streets?
Yeah, it was the whole order. I mean, I don't remember what came first. It was too long ago.
Okay.
That's not clear for you, is what I hear you saying.
Because I was just thinking like general, colonel, something, and I didn't know if that's what.
So you want me to do something with order of? Suggestion. I know.
Well, I was just curious. I said I saw the transition, but when I look back at it, that sort of awareness, I think, only came to me in the last 2 lines, or maybe the last 3 lines, I guess. It says streets changed names and the 4 sisters traveled. Before that, it's just like a snapshot of something that happened a long time ago, a trip back home from somewhere. And then it jumps in time to the sisters traveling backwards. And there's something about that shift from in time. I know I've mentioned this twice now. There's something about it that sort of confused me. With poems, I'm I'm always trying to see if I can, and maybe this is a mistake on my part, but with poems, I'm always trying to see if I can boil down the essence of a poem into a phrase or a sentence or two. And I'm not sure I could do that right now. Like, I'm not sure if I understand the rationale, logic, whatever word you want to use, behind shifting from past to present, which I think is what happens. Yeah. So I'm curious about why you did that. I guess that's my reaction.
It's my turn now, or is this something you want to do? One is, does the title help with the time theme?
I can't hear her when
Oh,
she's
sorry. Well, it was just in here. I was just reading the last part, so I thought
Okay.
you have it, so I didn't kind of want to read to you.
Does the title help with the time sense? It's not finished. If, and you're right, Ben, I'm moving from the present into the past into the present. And I haven't gotten to that part yet. This is really just a draft. It won't be a lot longer. So what I hear you need saying is that, like I tell my students, the poem needs a reason for being to you.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's fair.
going into the future, going to the present needs to have a reason. Would it help if there's a white space, which there was initially, between the hands of Buddha and the map fades? So that there's a real obvious shift then?
Okay. That's an interesting point, and that's one of those things that's always sort of fascinated me about poetry, because a lot of how I receive the poem depends on just how it looks on the
Right.
page.
It should.
And I don't, that's a hard question for me to answer until I see it, how it looks on the page. But probably, yes. But that would just, to me, again, that would just make the need
Right.
to rationalize that shift from past to present, or whatever, present to past, or whatever it is, make that more pronounced for me rather than less so.
What would you need to see in order for the fact that the map is fading? If that's what the present's going to be about, that's all gone and even fading from memory. What would need to happen in the poem for you to see that?
I don't know. I have a hard time answering that. Can you answer that, man? Because I know it's my comment, but I don't know how to answer it. I don't know what to say.
It's kind of like, this is your journey, and your sister's into this journey.
They've been there since.
Right, because you talk
They
about.
were all on is the 2 to 3 to 4. So this is many journeys, I guess, is one of the things that suggests to me right there. Ask the question again, maybe.
What would need to happen in the poem in order for the title, which is supposed to kind of map it, and the fact that it's fading, that it's all being lost, that almost no one remembers, for that to be clearer?
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just respond to something that I heard you say just now, which is about the sense of loss, which has not occurred to me until you used that word. I mean, I don't. Obviously, this past and present, some things have been lost, and that sort of goes, that sort of assumption. But before you said that, if someone had said, this is a poem about loss, I would have said, well, where do you see that?
So that needs to be more explicit.
I think it does.
Okay.
I think I've got that just because it's history and it's and there's something there, so I'm not losing my mind, so I get it. I can't get nouns.
You saying I'm losing my mind?
No, it's earlier.
You have yours, you get ours together.
You're just remedial, that's all. You're just remedial.
So you did feel a sense of loss?
I did feel it, and yeah, that not knowing names, or then just that some things were clear and some things weren't clear.
But that's memory. That's just memory. Of course,
So
some
I'm
things
going
are clear,
to
some
break
things
out
aren't
for a
clear.
second and show you that what the writer gets then is two very different perspectives. And neither one's right or wrong. It's just a question of, I have to decide, well, do I need to make it more explicit to reach Ben's reader, the readers like Ben, or can I assume that more readers will be like Annie? And only I can make that decision. Only either writer can make that decision. But I won't know unless they both tell me. Ben's saying, no, it's not explicit for me. I'm not seeing that. And he's saying, well, yeah, I think I did see that. So I can pump it and highlight it more, or I can choose to leave it more implicit because it's poetry. But I can't count. Ben's a really smart reader. I can't count that another reader will be Annie, who knows me really well too and knows the context for the poem, which Zach wouldn't have when he read it, you know, nor would Becky. So anyway, that's what a writing book is so important. Thank you.